Here is another sample pedigree question where we are trying to identify the inheritance pattern. Here's the pedigree. Let's just shift it over to the side. And there are 4 different inheritance patterns we are looking at: autosomal dominant, autosomal recessive, X-linked dominant, and X-linked recessive. So let's just take these one at a time. So first, could this be autosomal dominant? We would label the genotypes. This is everyone who shows the trait. And what we see right away is we see there's lots of generations that are skipped. So look at all these parents where none of them show the trait, but they all have children who show the trait. So what this means is that it's unlikely to be dominant. Yes, you could have incomplete penetrance, but you're going to learn about that next year. For now, we're dealing with complete penetrance. And so this is not autosomal dominant. We can draw a line through that. So now let's take a look if it could be X-linked dominant. So we could label the genotypes, but again, we're going to run into the same issue where all of these parents who have offspring that show the trait, none of them show the trait. And so this is unlikely to be X-linked dominant. So what about autosomal recessive? Let's label the genotypes. You would have a little a and a little a if this was autosomal recessive. And let's label the genotypes of the parents. So in this case, what we see is we see several folks who would marry into the family and have to bring in the allele in order for those offspring to be affected, autosomal recessive. And so, as I said before, we don't include that in these types of problems at this stage. We will be looking at background allele frequency later. So this is not autosomal recessive because we'd have to have 4 individuals in this pedigree bringing the allele in. For X-linked recessive, let's label all our genotypes and label the parents, and you can follow the X's that have this allele, you can follow them through the pedigree. What I want to do is just point out individual 5-1 who's circled here in blue. And so this female, in order to be affected and it be X-linked recessive, they would have to have 2 copies of the allele. And they got those alleles from both mom and dad. So dad showed the trait and mom was a carrier. So the answer to this is yes, this could absolutely be X-linked recessive.